Thank you for inviting me over. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of the office, so let me just start with a little introduction of the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor. Dr. Abdul Kalam was our first Principal Scientific Advisor way back in 1990s. He was the Principal Scientific Advisor to Honorable Prime Minister Bajpai. Now we have the fourth Principal Scientific Advisor, Professor Ajay Sood. And he's a nanotechnology expert. He's from Indian Institute of Science with about 51 years of experience. He also specializes in quantum, and the quantum mission is being led by him. Of course, he articulates quite well and calibrates almost all the important missions of science and technology. I come from the Strategic Alliances Division, and I report to him on areas which have alliances between industry, academia, industry, startups, global and multinationals, other governments, as well as embassies on a continuous basis. So how did this all come about? Pandemic was a boon and a bane both ways. For us, it was a boon because of the fact that we actually understood that there's a lot of work that we can do with the industries along with academia and startups during COVID. Be it ventilators or oxygen concentrators, reagents, development of testing kits, all of these were done along with startups and academia. We did several researches as well as innovations during that time. So from then on, this division has taken charge, and we are working on different areas like renewable energy, agriculture, animal husbandry, water, oil and gas, mining, and so on. And that's where the public sector units have come into the picture. The public sector units largely have been working on either CSR or R&D with us. So our role is to basically help them source their partners. It could be academic partners or startups and so on. So since we have several industries as well as international entities on the demand side, including the public sector units, we decided that we need to have some kind of a platform which will bring all of you together, and so that we are not a bottleneck anymore for anybody. So that's why we have the Manthan platform, which, as you are aware, is the supporting partner for this conference as well. The whole idea of Manthan is that we crowdsource the opportunities, as we call it. It's basically the problem statement. So each of the public sector units, be it ONGC, be it GAIL, BEML, BEL, IOCL, all of them use this platform quite freely. So there are two parts to it. One is the CSR, which is R&D related to CSR. The other is related to industry R&D, which is a classified section. So both these sections are used by PSUs. The classified section does not allow anybody else to see what you're doing. So for instance, if you are BEL and you don't want to share anything with Intel or any other private or public sector, you can use the classified section, and that's what they've been doing on a regular basis. So several of them have been using this particular platform for giving the opportunities to different academia as well as innovations. And the innovators and the academic institutes take about a month to apply through proposals and so on, so that you could receive those proposals and study them, evaluate them independently, and then, of course, take it forward. This platform also has subject matter experts, so each of you can upload your own data as subject matter experts, so that foreign institutes as well as Indian institutes invite you over, and you could also be part of the knowledge sharing that is possible. And then, of course, there are several ways of engaging. One is to do early R&D, which is TRL level 2, 3, 4, and so on, where you can work with the academic institutes. Instead of going to one or two academic institutes, if you come on the platform, you get a competitive bidding. And the proposals are from absolutely every institute of repute. So that saves you a lot of funds, and that fund can be used for further research. So that is how it helps, and you can always go back to the institute of your choice. But they also know that they are in the fray and they cannot monopolize anymore. So that is one way of looking at the platform. The second is, of course, the quality and also the unreached, because a lot of startups, you will not be knowing that what kind of work they do. For instance, I was just sitting with the Deputy Commissioner of Police who spoke before me, and he was surprised that there was a startup called Interpol which works on exactly what he explained. So you can well imagine how much of time gets saved when you come to know that there are startups who are already working on the spaces that you are trying to attempt, or where you don't need to duplicate efforts. Because duplication of efforts in this country is abysmally, one of the biggest problems that we should avoid, because it's a waste of resources. It could be industry, private funding, or public sector, or government, any resources. It doesn't matter from where it comes. We need to avoid duplications. We also have something called the market-ready innovations. This is where you will find almost all startups have their details on the platform, or they apply to you the minute you provide your requirement. We give a 1 month time, largely because we want very accurate and good quality proposals. It has to have say, the team structure and why they should be selected, what is the market research they have done, who are the other people in that particular space of innovation, how are they unique from the others, what is the costing, all of that in clear-cut basis they have to provide as a response to each of your requirements. Similarly, we also have something called the implementation project, especially for CSR. In your catchment area, you might want to give gamification of STEM education or skill development of ITIs, or you may want to work within the public sector unit and educate your employees and so on. There are several ways that you could be doing it. That implementation project is also part of the story. Most of the PSUs have been working on different ranges of projects. Like for instance, GAIL funded the robotics for sewage cleaning, which was one of the startups who had developed it. Similarly, we had NTPC using Netra. They have done a lot of projects with us through the Manthan platform. We have IOCL, which posted almost every innovation on waste management, water, and those areas they had posted, and they've got a lot of innovations and they have taken forward some of them. BL has used the platform for defense microprocessors and several other industry R&D, specialized R&D. Most of the classified R&D, we also don't get involved. We do not get into what it is because of the fact that it is classified. So even for us, it is classified. It's not only for general public. So there are several of the PSUs who are using that. And so I can go on and on. There are several examples. ONGC, for instance, the foundation itself was very keen on our something called the Prime Minister's Science, Technology, Innovation Clusters. As science, technology, innovation clusters are in 7 to 8 cities, Chandigarh, Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, and so on, so Bhubaneswar. So they all work together. Several institutes and industries work together along with startups and so on. So they were very keen to support some of the proposals over there because those are state government proposals and on the ground. There are several ways that PSUs also engage internally, which means that they set up accelerators through this platform internally inside their industries where they incubate and accelerate startups within their public sector unit, which is very good because startups should ideally be very close to the industry. That's the game changer here. They also, of course, do R&D which are related to, not related to their business, but related to sustainable development goals like renewable energy, water, and so on. They also have PPP models where government is funding some bit and the public sector unit is funding the institute and so on. So there are several PPP models as well. So all these ranges of projects that PSUs do are first of all creating innovation within the industry, within the public sector unit per se, internally, which means newer technologies for the PSU, for their processes, for their manufacturing, for their marketing, for their newer technology and newer products, and using technology and science and innovation for undertaking CSR. So one can always say that what is the difference between say incubating startups and funding through CSR or research and funding through CSR, and what is the difference between these kind and like feeding an orphanage or planting some trees, etc. The whole difference is the multiplier effect, right? So for instance, Infosys had about 25 lakhs in the month of March. Usually companies have some money and they want to park it somewhere. So they said 25 lakhs for you may be literally nothing. But we said no, 25 lakhs is also a huge amount of money. We can make a ventilator out of that. So we gave it to IIT Delhi, we developed a ventilator. Today, Africa has the requirements, Northeast has requirements. WHO has provided this ventilator to so many of them. So the 25 lakhs had the multiplier effect. Similarly, water technology. The minute you spend say 20 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crores on a water technology, you have made the technology, but somebody else will implement it in very places where the quality and quantity of water is very bad. So there is so much that one can do with this kind of research and innovation projects. And that's why you should encourage your CSR folks as well as your innovation heads to work a lot with academia and startups because of the fact that it has a multiplier effect. The last point I wanted to make is that why startups should be encouraged. One is that, as you know, then MSMEs have been really at a very slow pace. So the startups should not end up like MSMEs, and hence this platform is also for SMEs and MSMEs. We have all of them on one platform, so that these people who are youth don't leave the nation and go out. They are trying to address some of the challenges that the nation is facing or globally we are facing. So we need to encourage them further, and nothing better than CSR or innovation or internal R&D that you have. And that's why it is very important that we all work together, which means industries as well as academia and startups. Thank you, and Jai Hind.